To set up your document for our lessons and our emphasis challenges, you would do the following. Click the plus sign. Create a custom size. Type in 8 by 10 inches or 10 by 8 inches. Make sure that inches is chosen as your unit of measurement. Hit the word create. Pinch zoom your document down or pinch reduce. That way, when we open up our properties panel tools, you can see them easier. You can always pinch zoom to get into tighter details later. Click on the stack of papers in the upper right-hand corner. This opens layers. We want to draw grid lines for our rule of thirds, so we have a guide to follow. I'm going to click on the paintbrush because this chooses the color for our grid lines. I want to turn off the fill by clicking the eyeball. I want to turn on the stroke since that represents lines for our stroke line. I'm setting the stroke width at about 2 points so I can see it fairly clearly through whatever I'm drawing. All right. I'm going to come over to the tool panel on the left, and the fourth tool down is what we call the pen tool. With a click and a click at the bottom, it will create a line segment. I'm going to tap on the selection tool and then tap anywhere on the surface of the artboard to deselect or to click away. I'm going to do that process 3 more times to create the rest of my vertical and my horizontal grid lines for my rule of thirds. Okay, as you can see, some of my lines are a little crooked. Remember the selection tool, the top one, while it's selected, I could select on any of these and move them around as needed, whatever my spacing is. If you have a crooked line like I do, I'm going to use my direct selection tool and I'm going to click the anchor point that is in question. This one needs to come down a little bit. And as soon as I click it, it starts to turn black. That means it's selected, so I can move it around. And now I can hit my selection tool, tap away, and I've deselected. Actually, I'm going to move this one down just a little bit. Okay, deselect. Now, I'm going to go back to my layers panel. I'm going to lock this so I don't draw on it. I'm going to double click it so I can type in grid so I know what that layer is. I'm going to create a new layer from the little plus sign there at the top, and this is going to be called our background layer. All right. I'm going back to the paint palette to choose a color for my background shape. Remember that the background shape is a solid shape. I'm going to turn off the eyeball for stroke. Now I'm going to turn on the fill eyeball, and I'm going to choose some kind of a color for my background. I'm going to move my color picker slider. Let's see, I might go with something in the gray-green family. Okay, and I'm coming over and choosing my rectangle tool. And I am dragging from top corner all the way down to bottom corner to cover my entire artboard space. I'm going to move my color selector out of the way. I'm going back to the layers panel and I'm locking it. If I ever want to redo it or change it at all, I can do that by unlocking this particular layer. All right. I'm going to move or flip these layers positions. I'm going to grab the icon picture or that we call the thumbnail, and I'm going to move this layer up. Come on, buddy. There we go. All right, so grab it by the little thumbnail picture. The background layer is chosen. I'm going to add a new layer, and it happens on top of that one. And now this is the layer that I'll be drawing my shapes on. This is where I can choose any shape that I want from our options. So I'm going to mix some colors here. Let's mix a color for this particular shape. I might want to play with some complementary oranges. I think I'll play with that guy. All right, so I'm going to create a shape over here. I'm going to decide to move him. Let's move him over here. All right. We can play with the idea of transparency as well. But I'm going to create a few more shapes here just to get some stuff set. I'm using the little orange dot to pivot or turn my shape at an angle. Oops, drew an extra one. I'm going to come back now and play with some opacity changes. I'm going to change the opacity of this guy. I'm going to change the opacity of this one. Change a little bit of that one. Okay. Let's see, let's work with some oval. Let's get a different kind of fill color. Let's work with something a little bit more in the red-orange family. Oh, still a rectangle, sorry. Thought I clicked on the oval. Let's see. I might want that not to be so opaque, so I think I'm going to select that one and make that one a little bit more rich. All right. Yeah, I might put some more ovals. Oops, didn't want the rectangle. Let's see, I want to get back to my red-orange color. Let's see, I might want some of those to be more of the blue family. Let's make these more blue. Come back and use that color again. All right, I might want to push some of that to the back. Let's see, I'm going to play with my ordering. I'm going to see if I can flip that to the back. Bring that to the front. Bring that to the front. Send that further back. Bring that to the front. All right. Let's see. I might want to put, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 shapes so far. Let's do I'm still on blue, green? Yes, I am. Okay. Let's do a circle. Okay. Let's bring this guy to the front. Make sure he's in the front so that the little circle is kind of more faded in the back. All right, we might even add a little bit of a shadow. Let's throw a shadow on this guy. Let's see, how much of a gray do I want this to be? Let's come down a little bit more. Let's go a little bit more than that. There we go. And let's see, how much of a blur? Let's tighten it up a little bit here. I can make it stand out a little bit more. All right, so I'm gonna play with that right now. So notice how I used different things such as the shadow. I used a little bit of a blur on the shadow so it would be fuzzy. I played with opacity. I played with bringing some shapes to the front, some shapes to the back. One other thing, when I close with the X, okay, it goes back into here, into my gallery. I am going to click here just to show you briefly one more time how to like pop shapes out if you want to pop out a shape into something else. So let me draw myself a circle here. Okay, remember this is selected. I need to select more. I need to click on this guy as well, so both the circle and the strange shape are chosen. I'm going to come up here to the shape on shape path, which gives me the Boolean tools, and I can pop, when I select this one here at the bottom, it will pop out the whole, all right, and absorb the new color. I can always change the color of that, right? I can add a shape to this if I'd like to. Oops, all right, there we go. I wanted to add a shape. I could add, let's add a rectangle. I can add a rectangle. Let's make him a new color so we can see the change happen. Let's make him that crazy blue-green color. I now need to select both shapes. I'm going to go back to the Boolean. Whoops. Back to the Boolean, and now I'm going to merge those two shapes together and see how I have that up there. So merging is definitely another option. When you're done drawing and creating, we're going to close out with the X, all right, and send everything back to here. I'm going to invite you to rename your document. So if you tap on it, it will give you the chance to retype or retitle it. Again, we have the titles already. This would be E3 and your last name, right? And then hit done, and you have renamed that with the E3 or the E4 and your last name. We'll do a saving instructions, and those are back in the instructions for the whole project. They're the last 4 or 5 slides at the end, and they walk through you how to save.